really pushing towards video tours, better pictures,
Yeah.
pre-applications. A tenant can Google your property, take a video walkthrough, and have a pretty good idea with what you're offering before they go. I'm definitely focusing on my core business, which is what I started with, of long-term rentals. This was the last month was usually when all the students were in exams.
Yeah.
Let's call it a small plaza that has food places or little bars or social spots. This was the last month of their high revenue season. When you're buying right now, and I've always been a believer of this, but now more than ever, you must have multiple exit strategies.
Yes. What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and in today's video, myself and Kyle Ford discuss what's going on with quarantine, self-isolation, and just how that's impacting the real estate business. If you guys don't remember Kyle, he's a real estate investor in Kitchener-Waterloo, as well as a mortgage agent. So we also discuss what he sees going on in the lending game in regards to COVID-19 and how that's impacting our ability to get leverage. So let's dive into today's video. Hey YouTube, Matt McKeever here, and we're back with Kyle Ford. I'm really excited to have Kyle back on the channel, and I figured I just wanted to get another active real estate practitioner on a call with me, and let's discuss how our businesses are being impacted by COVID-19, self-quarantine, isolation, and social distancing. And really just let's try and shed some light on a lot of the fears, assumptions, and misinformation that I'm hearing going on in the market these days. So, Kyle, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate you making time. And I'm just excited to kind of dive into it. So let us know what's going on right now in your world. And if you don't mind, give the audience, in case they're new to yourself and your journey, a little bit of context about who you are as an investor today.
Okay. Well, thanks again for having me, Matt. I've been investing in real estate for just over 7 years now. I worked as an independent financial advisor prior to investing in real estate. Didn't like the results that my clients were getting in the traditional markets. So I started looking for other solutions, got into real estate. 2.5 years ago, I sold my financial business and became a mortgage broker. So I work in the mortgage space now, as well as my own investment portfolio. I've really done the full range of investing. I've done pre-construction condos, single-family rentals, single-family flips, turnkey multiplexes, underperforming multiplexes. Cottage rentals is a big one that I've gotten into, larger commercial multiplexes. And a lot of my business now is around private lending and private money. So really kind of the full range of real estate investing, a lot of JV partnerships as well. So that's a little bit about, my real estate business. In terms of right now, I don't like using the term business as usual right now because I don't think everything is business as usual. But it's business. Business is not changed a lot in the rental properties. So when the announcement came out in mid-March that we were going into the state of emergency, things were shutting down. We heard things like rent strikes and all this stuff. We just tried to stay ahead of it. We reached out to our tenants right away. We let them know that, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. We're here to help in any way. We gently reminded that rent is still due on the 1st, but if there's any reason that you can't make that payment, just talk to us. Let's make a plan. We shared the benefit. We shared the CRB benefit. We offered to write any letters or statements or give them any documentation that they may need. It turns out they didn't need a lot, but we were trying to stay ahead of that. So when April 1st came around, we were 100% rent collected. We received it all. We're expecting going forward for May 1st, rent to be collected as well. We did a bit of we gave a little bit at some of our buildings, a little bit of break. We're covering the water bill for the first month on the one, just as a bit of a thank you. And then going forward on May 1st, as long as rent is paid on time, we're just going to do a $25 skip the dishes gift card. It's not a matter of, to us, it's just about showing people that we care. We understand what's going on right now. We understand that, they're probably getting sick of their spouse cooking. So maybe they want something different. But just showing a little bit of good faith that we understand. And if for whatever reason they're not able to make their payments, rent is still due. But we will do whatever we can if we need to make a payment plan, if we need to anything we can do to help them, we're willing to do that. But we do need to make sure we're protecting our business interests on these cases. So.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think it's really important in this current situation, in this current environment, that every landlord and investor take a proactive approach like you showed there. I know for myself, we had our property managers reach out directly to our tenants a few days before April 1st as well, just to kind of get a feeling for where everyone was at. We actually put together, similarly to yourself, a document breaking down how the CERB benefit works and things like that, just so that everyone clearly understood, so that there was no reason that someone would be confused about the process, as well as reminding them that, yes, rent is due on the 1st. And I think it's important for us to, showcase this. Like, most tenants are great tenants that want to work with their landlords, right? It's unfortunate the mainstream media often wants to portray things in a us versus them mentality, greedy landlords versus poor tenants, and that they'll never work together ever. When in fact, for myself, again, I think we had about 95% collection on April 1st or 2nd, which I think on average, we're usually doing 93%. So if anything, it was actually a little bit better. And that to me, again, just shows that like most people are decent people that just want to go along with the rules. They don't want to rock the boat. And then it's really just a very vocal minority that's trying to stir up issues or cause complaints or really just social disturbances or disruptions during this high volatility, these uncertain times. And I love the idea of providing a $25 just like skip the dishes or DoorDash gift card to tenants, because again, it's not necessarily about the $25, but showing them that you respect and appreciate them, right? And just trying to go that extra little step is so important. And again, I saw so many news articles want to blow up about all the crazy rent strikes that are going on. But the vast majority of landlords I know, they're doing fine. They collected the same amount of rents April 1st as they did for March 1st. And just for context, because I think it is really important, because things change so much. Just for anyone watching this video on replay, this is being shot April 22nd. So again, who knows? Maybe next month things are completely different. We got to take this day by day. And again, I think it's really important that landlords and investors stay on top of at least the high level news, right? Like what new programs are being offered, what's the government saying? Because certainly at first I found it disturbing when we had a lot of politicians saying, if you got to choose between food and rent, you know which one to choose. And it's just like, wow, that feels like we're really being backed into a corner. And all of a sudden we're being identified as, if someone has to lose, make it these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was obviously a very disappointing statement when it was made. I do now, with the amount of benefits that are available to people, there shouldn't be that shouldn't be the case. When that statement was made, it was made before April 1st, before people knew what their benefits were, while they were getting laid off. So there was a couple weeks of uncertainty. There's benefits available. There's the ability to make the payment now. So there should be no reason that choice needs to be made now. So I'm optimistic moving forward. Hopefully it stays that way.
So are there any other business practices that you're implementing or changing at this point in time? Or is there anything you're paying a lot of attention to that's potentially impacting your business or your perception of how your business will be going forward?
Well, so first part about that was we have 2 one-bedroom units that we're filling right now. We happen to have tenants who had given notice already, so there was some turnover going on anyways. So I'm actually excited about some of the things that we're doing, and I think they're going to be staying that way post-COVID. We're really pushing towards video tours, better pictures, pre-applications. A tenant can Google your property, take a video walkthrough, and have a pretty good idea with what you're offering before they go. So there's no reason that an application can't be filled and reviewed, and we're only going to be showing to those selected tenants. So we're able to take a lot of the running around, the no-shows, all that kind of stuff that our property manager goes through. We're trying to eliminate that by leveraging technology and leveraging systems to make that process smoother. And though maybe in the future we'll still do an open house here and there for a rental property, I think going forward, these are new systems and processes that we're going to be implementing regardless of a global pandemic or not. And just kind of tying that into what's going on right now is I think everybody needs to if they have downtime because of what's going on, they need to take a look at their business and say, are we set up for the future? Because
Mm-hmm.
even if they declare the pandemic over in 2 weeks and everything goes back to usual, which I'm not in any way saying that's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but let's just say for a second they do, there's still going to be a lot of people who are fearful to go look at your unit and shake your hand and meet you. So we need to be accommodating those people as well in the future going forward, regardless of what government decisions are made, to make sure we're accommodating the general public and able to attract the most number of tenants. But one thing I'm really paying attention to right now is the short-term rental business. What's
Mm-hmm.
going to, moving forward, how that's going to look. I have cottages. I have 6 cottages,
Yeah.
5 of which we rent out. So how's that going to look? Are people going to expect more space between guests because of this? Like, is a 4-hour turnaround window going to be socially acceptable? Is that going to impact my vacancy rates and my income on those short-term rentals? So I'm really looking at the short-term business. I know a couple people right now who invest in the Stratford area on short-term rentals based on the theater business.
The festival, yeah.
The festival, and they're hit hard right now. They discovered that business is not recession-proof. It's not downturn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely focusing on my core business, which is what I started with, of long-term rentals. I'm not scaling the short-term rental business right now. Not saying I'm out of it, but when we're in a down market, when we're in a position that we're in, I want to focus on essential needs. Long-term, safe, affordable housing is what people are going to be looking for. So I'm definitely paying attention to the short-term business and making sure that I'm positioned well going forward if this were to last months, years, however that may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting to me how, as business owners, we knew that things were probably eventually going to move towards virtual showings and, pre-applications, things of that nature. But emergencies or crises really do trigger us to become more innovative faster, right? And all of a sudden that timeline really gets compressed. And one of the things that I'm paying a lot of attention to these days is student rentals. So that's how I kind of got started. And that's how I got my come up, really got some great cash flow from student rental properties here in London, Ontario. And for the longest time, I've had mild concerns about student rentals because in the back of my mind, I was scared about a student debt bubble. I was like, what if we eventually see enrollments drop because simply students no longer wish to take on the volume of debt necessary to get a post-secondary education? What if they start to perceive a post-secondary education as less valuable? But I didn't think that I'd have the concern I currently have, which is what if a lot of schools go virtual? I'm concerned that a lot of schools are going to see how much more profitable teaching kids from afar is compared to having to have these big, massive campuses for every single class. And so that's something that I know personally I'm really trying to stay dialed in on, because I had started to think maybe I should actually drift back more into student rentals. And we're actually in the process right now of buying a 31 unit apartment building that's primarily geared towards grad and PhD students. And so I was like, it's really interesting how, again, it seemed inevitable that universities would get there and go to virtual classrooms. But I was like, oh man, those like the professor unions and all the different unions that are involved in those big campuses and the post-secondary institutions, I was like, they're never going to let this happen. They'll fight tooth and nail. But all of a sudden that narrative's really changed now. So again, It's really interesting how we're seeing these dynamic situations evolve and how the kind of unintended consequences to some of our business models as real estate investors. I know you don't necessarily invest a lot in commercial real estate or like commercial units that are being rented out to small businesses, but do you have any thoughts or anything you'd like to share with the audience in regards to kind of that niche?
Yeah, I was speaking to a commercial property manager this morning actually about this, and he made he basically said May 1st is going to be a bloodbath to get rent.
Yeah.
They're genuinely concerned about that. They're concerned that these businesses, especially the timing of all this, right? This was the last month was usually when all the students were in exams. Yeah. Let's call it a small plaza that has food places or little bars or social spots. This was the last month of their high revenue season.
Cashflow Tribe.
I am a real estate agent. I've been an agent for 2 years. I've been an investor for 5 or 6 years. I can talk real estate all day, and I do, and it bores my friends. They're in that mindset where it's like, oh, well, you'll never be successful.
I already own a few properties, but these guys weren't like just trying to sell you a dream. Like they're investing in you, and you want you to invest in yourself too. So I saw that, so I decided to come at the boot camp and see what it's all about, and I'm glad I did. And I think Cashflow Tribe opens you up to a lot more possibilities, and I want other people to just even see it, right? So they can believe it for themselves.
I just want to learn from people who are already doing it. Instead of trying to learn on my own, why not come to the people who are doing it and are successful at it?
I have 4 houses, cash flowing right now. When you have the connection with the people that doing the same thing as you are, it's just extremely powerful. Even if you think that you know everything about real estate, you don't. You know, like meeting new people, like you always hear different stories. And you know, like having 15, 20, 30 people with different mindsets. They have different experiences, you know, like that's so powerful. And meeting this people, like for me, it's priceless. It's priceless.
But do you have any thoughts or anything you'd like to share with the audience in regards to kind of that niche?
Yeah, I was speaking to a commercial property manager this morning actually about this, and he made he basically said May 1st is going to be a bloodbath to get rent.
Yeah.
They're genuinely concerned about that. They're concerned that these businesses, especially the timing of all this, right? This was the last month was usually when all the students were in exams. Yeah. Let's call it a small plaza that has food places or little bars or social spots. This was the last month of their high revenue season, going into their low revenue season. And he mentioned that there were some talks about schools are questioning whether they were going to open in September. Right? So they're worried that some of these tenants are just going to say, we're walking away. And now we're coming back into, let's say they do launch in September. We have there's a high vacancy rate, lots of commercial units available, driving the prices down. So it's something, it's one of the, people have asked me for years why I don't get into commercial. And I have always just felt that the risk is too high. I felt like we were moving towards a more virtual world. It's not, and that when a recession hits, these things can get hit first. And I've been told that by mentors and experts before, but I've never lived it. And now I'm actually seeing it in reality. So definitely there's concern there, right? You got to make sure, going back to, I'm really trying to focus my investment strategy, whether that means buying my own buildings or even the people that I'm lending private money to. If they're doing a strip mall right now, I'm probably not interested in lending. If you're going to renovate a new fourplex to put on the long-term market, that's something that there's a lot of need to. So,
and so let's talk about your business practices right now. I know when we last touched in, I think you were still aggressively acquiring like myself. What's your perspective now? Have you taken the foot off the gas? Are you doubling down? Have your metrics changed as far as what you consider to be a good deal?
So I will say I'm not actively looking right now, but that has nothing to do with what's going on in the market. I have a baby due in 45 days, and my wife will kill me if I buy anything right now. So we have four pretty significant renovations going on right now that are going to be wrapped up in the next 15 to 30 days. So we're not actively seeking anything smaller right now. I'm looking for a larger apartment building is really all I'm looking for right now. So anything smaller, I'm either flipping it off to another investor, wholesaling it if there's an opportunity to do so. I'm personally not looking, but that's less to do with what's going on, in the world and more just personally in my life for the next 90 to 120 days. I was planning on slowing down anyways and enjoy being a new dad. With that being said, I do think it is a buy opportunity. I think the classic Warren Buffett stuff, when there's fear in the market, be greedy. There's fear there. My interpretation of the market is I don't predict a major crash. in the Canadian, let's get more local.
Yeah.
Southern Ontario. In the Southern Ontario market where I live and where I invest, I'm not predicting a major crash. I think things are going to soften. I think the runaway appreciation is going to slow down. And I do think that some people, whether it's a consumer who's over leveraged or lost their job, or an investor who's over leveraged, may panic and sell their property at a discount. So I don't think the market as a whole is going to be dropping, but I do think people will panic and sell their property at a discount. So if you're an active investor who's buying on good financials, good core values, I think there's going to be opportunities to pick up properties under market value right now.
Gotcha. And so if you didn't have the personal situations that you currently have that kind of keep you from wanting to aggressively acquire, would you still be focused on the same sort of buying metrics? Like, would the same cost per unit be attractive, the same cash flow per door, or would you be looking to get better numbers than you would have 3 months ago, let's say?
I would. I would want a little bit better. You got to be making money on the buy. I feel like I'm just a bunch of cheesy real estate lines here.
Slogans.
But you do.
Yeah.
It's not a cheesy real estate line when it's the truth. Whether the market's running away rampantly, going up, or softening, or even, especially if it's crashing, you need to be making money on the buy. You have to have built-in equity. Even more importantly than that, when you're buying right now, and I've always been a believer of this, but now more than ever, you must have multiple exit strategies.
Yes.
Does it work as a rental? Can you flip it for a profit? If you're new, can you move into it? If you have less than 3 properties and you're going to buy a new property right now, can you move into it if shit hits the fan? So if you're a more experienced investor, can you JV it out to a partner? What are your multiple exit strategies? And I think now more than ever, that's the most important. So making money on the buy, multiple exit strategies. There's still firm offers going on, but and things going over ask. But if you can, get a conditional period. There's more people that are. What I'm finding right now, and some of the feedback I'm getting is, some sellers don't mind taking a conditional period for financing right now, to make sure you can get your financing. They would rather not write a firm offer and then come back in on closing day and say, shit, they pulled the funding. They want to know that you have the funding. So now that's case by case. You trust your professionals on that, what you should do. But that's some of the feedback and chatter that I'm hearing from different realtors and investors as well. So
awesome. Yeah, really appreciate that perspective, Kyle. Yeah. Before we wrap up, if people want to reach out to you or get in contact, what's the best way to find you?
Best way is just going to be email. It's Kyle, Kyle, at Bremac, BREMAC, realestate.com. Kyle at BremacRealestate.com.
Awesome. We'll throw a link in the video description down below if you guys want to email Kyle. And just a reminder, what markets are you currently investing in, Kyle?
Primarily Kitchener, the Waterloo region, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo, as well as in Grand Bend, Ontario. That's where my cottage rental portfolio is. So
awesome. And just a reminder, Kyle is also a mortgage agent. So if you guys are currently looking in that area, make sure you reach out to him as well. Thanks again, Kyle, and we'll see you in the next video.
No problem. Sounds good.
Thanks again to Kyle for taking the time to do this video and just kind of catch up with me and break down how he sees COVID-19 impacting the real estate industry. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.